Welcome to the unexpected funny side of Formula One, where precision driving meets comedic timing. From grid mishaps to unplanned detours, these moments have entertained fans as much as any podium finish. So buckle up as we revisit the funniest incidents in F1 history, proving that even at 200 miles per hour, there's always room for a good laugh. Fernando Alonso takes over the camera. Picture this, it's the dying moments of free practice 2 at the 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix, and Fernando Alonso's McLaren has just given up the ghost, stranding him trackside. But does our Spanish maestro sulk? Oh no, instead he decides to turn this mechanical misfortune into an impromptu adventure. Abandoning his lifeless car, Alonso spots the nearby camera crew and thinks, why not? Grabbing the camera, Alonso starts framing shots like he's the next Spielberg. For a moment, it seems he's found his post-F1 calling, but reality soon hits. Perhaps he's better off sticking to racing his rivals than all this camera stuff. Laughing, he hands back the camera and heads for the pit, leaving us with an unforgettable slice of F1 comedy gold.
We see his handiwork.
I think he's having a go at something, yeah.
No,
absolutely rubbish.
Interlagos 2018 Brazilian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen leads the race when Esteban Ocon, fresh from the pit, finds himself with unexpected pace. As they barrel down the back straight, Ocon sees an opportunity and goes for it. Verstappen's, ever the defender, covers the inside line, but Ocon's not backing down. He swings to the outside in a daring move that has everyone holding their breath. Then, hilariously, disaster strikes. At turn 2, the two cars collide, sending both into a spin. They recover, but Verstappen's lead evaporates, likely costing him the win. The incident ignites a powder keg of emotions. Post-race, the tension is palpable. Verstappen fumes in interviews, his frustration evident in every word, but it's at the driver's scales where things truly boil over. In a rare display of raw emotion, Verstappen confronts Ocon, shoving him repeatedly. It's a stark reminder that beneath the polished exterior of F1, fierce competitive spirits still burn.
What an idiot! What an idiot!
Raikkonen goes to the yacht. The 2006 Monaco Grand Prix takes an unexpected turn when Kimi Raikkonen's McLaren gives up midway through the race. But the Iceman isn't about to let a mechanical failure ruin his day in the Principality. Instead of heading back to the paddock for the usual post-retirement analysis, Raikkonen decides to make the most of his early exit. Without hesitation, he sets off towards the harbour where his luxury yacht awaits. As his competitors continue to navigate the challenging streets of Monaco, Raikkonen trades the cockpit for the deck. While race engineers puzzle over telemetry data, he's relaxing with friends, the sound of engines replaced by gentle waves. This detour perfectly encapsulates Raikkonen's unique approach to Formula One. It's a moment that becomes instant paddock legend, showcasing his ability to remain unfazed by the sport's highs and lows.
There is Kimi Raikkonen. He's not even gone back to the paddock. He's got his shirt off. He's on his boat, which has a splendid name, One More Toy.
Kimi gets lost. The 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix turns into a chaotic aquaplaning extravaganza as rain transforms Interlagos into Formula One's slipperiest stage. While championship contenders battle it out at the front, Kimi Raikkonen finds himself in a predicament of his own making. The Iceman's Lotus loses traction in Sector 3, sending him sliding off the track. But Kimi, ever the innovator, spot what he believes to be a clever shortcut. Why dirty the tyres on grass or risk a wall kiss when there's a perfectly good off-track route? With characteristic calmness, Raikkonen guides his Lotus down this improvised escape road. For a moment, it seems he's outsmarted the track itself, but then reality hits. There's no way back to the circuit. Kimi's shortcut has turned into a dead end. Forced to execute an awkward 180-degree turn, Raikkonen sheepishly rejoins the track. His great escape cut short, he returns to the race, leaving us yet with another classic Kimi moment etched in F1 lore.
How bizarre! Look at that! That's just the old track. That was 1980. Come on, Kimi.
The 1991 Canadian Grand Prix sets the stage for a dramatic upset in a season dominated by McLaren and Ayrton Senna. With Senna out of the race, Nigel Mansell finds himself leading comfortably, poised to break McLaren's winning streak. The Williams driver, sensing victory, begins his final lap with a commanding lead over Nelson Piquet. As Mansell rounds the circuit, he can't resist acknowledging the cheering crowds. Waving to the grandstands, he's already savouring his impending triumph. But Formula 1 is nothing if not unpredictable. Just half a mile from the finish, Mansell's car suddenly loses power on the back straight. In a cruel twist of fate, his Williams grinds to a halt, transforming certain victory into bitter disappointment. Nelson Piquet sees the unexpected opportunity, sweeps past to claim what would be his final Grand Prix win. Mansell's premature celebration becomes a cautionary tale in F1 lore, a stark reminder that in this sport, it's never over until you cross the line.
He's stopping! Nigel Mansell, just a few hundred yards from the flag on the last lap. He's stopping, he's banging his steering wheel in frustration. Something has happened. It looks as though he's out of the race.
The 2018 Baku Grand Prix serves up a moment of pure unintentional comedy, courtesy of Romain Grosjean. As the safety car leads the pack, Grosjean's radio crackles with complaints about the slow pace and its effect on tyre temperatures. Little does he know he's about to become the punchline of his own joke. In an overzealous attempt to warm his tyres, Grosjean serves aggressively behind the safety car. Suddenly, the Haas driver becomes his own worst enemy. With no one else to blame, he manages to lose control and slam into the wall, ending his race in spectacular fashion. The irony thickens as Grosjean, perhaps disoriented by the impact, accuses the car behind of hitting him.
What happened? I think Ericsson hit us.
But as the replays roll, they tell a different story, one of a solo crash that leaves the F1 community both wincing and chuckling.
He's weaving around trying to get temperature into the tyres, and what's happened here, Paul?
Oh, he's just dropped it himself.
The 1995 Hungarian Grand Prix provides an unforgettable moment of F1 comedy, courtesy of Taki Inoue. After retiring from the race, Inoue's day goes from bad to worse in a series of comical missteps. Parking his stricken car trackside, Inoue spots smoke and decides to play hero. He grabs a fire extinguisher, ready to save the day, but in his haste, he forgets his first rule of track safety: always look both ways. As Inoue dashes towards his car, the medical vehicle, ironically there to help, becomes an unwitting assailant. In a moment of perfect comedic timing, it clips the unsuspecting driver, sending him sprawling across the track in an ungraceful tumble. The sight of Inoue, fire extinguisher in hand, being upended by the very car meant to assist him becomes an instant classic in F1's blooper reel. Fortunately, Inoue emerges unscathed, left only with a bruised ego and a cautionary tale about the perils of track crossing enthusiasm.
Oh goodness gracious me, now that's absolutely appalling.
The 2015 Brazilian Grand Prix adds another chapter to Fernando Alonso's book of memorable Interlagos moments. As his underperforming McLaren once again decides to call it quits mid-session, Alonso refuses to let it dampen his spirits. Instead of the usual frustrated trudge back to the pits, the two-time world champion improvises. Spotting a conveniently placed folding chair trackside, Alonso makes an executive decision. While his competitors continue to lap the circuit, he casually settles in for a quick sunbathing session. There's Fernando, eyes closed, soaking in the Brazilian rays as if he's at a beach resort rather than a Grand Prix circuit. Unfortunately, the rest of the Spaniards' weekend wasn't so bright, finishing 15th and behind his teammate Jenson Button the next day.
I hope he's got some sun cream on. Don't try that at home unless you've got the factor 50.
The 2017 Baku Grand Prix delivers another gem from Kimi Raikkonen's treasure chest of memorable radio moments. As a red flag halts the race, chaos erupts in the pit lane. Amidst the frenzy, Kimi finds himself in a predicament that only he could handle with such unintentional comedy. Being wheeled back to the grid, the Iceman realizes he's missing two crucial items: his steering wheel and a glove. What follows is a radio exchange that perfectly captures Raikkonen's essence. "Steering wheel! Hey hey, steering wheel!" Kimi demands, his voice as level as ever. The urgency of the situation contrasts brilliantly with his matter-of-fact tone. He follows up with, "Gloves and steering wheel, yeah, come on, move." It's this blend of calm and desperation that makes the moment so captivating. While others might panic, Kimi treats the absence of essential equipment as a minor inconvenience.
Steering wheel, somebody tell him to give it to me. Come on, move!
The 2007 Canadian Grand Prix serves up a moment of unexpected comedy, courtesy of the Super Aguri team and an unlikely animal encounter. As the race unfolds, the Super Guri pit crew is laser focused on the action, their eyes glued to the monitors. Little do they know, one of their own drivers, Anthony Davidson, is about to make an unscheduled pit stop. Davidson's car suddenly appears in the pit lane, sporting a damaged front wing. The cause? A run-in with a local wildlife resident who decided to make a cameo appearance on the circuit. The Super Guri team, caught completely off guard, scrambles to respond. The sight of the mechanics doing a double take as they realise it's their own car needing urgent attention is priceless. It's a reminder that in F1, expect the unexpected, even if it means keeping an eye out for wandering animals.
So much so they haven't noticed that Davidson has pitted.
Imagine cruising at 200 miles per hour, feeling like the king of the track, when suddenly your car decides it's had enough of this being a car nonsense. That's exactly what happened to Sebastian Buemi during the 2010 Chinese Grand Prix practice. 1 second, he's flying down the back straight, the next he's slamming the brakes and pop, his front two wheels peace out simultaneously. There's Buemi, now captain of a very expensive, very fast skateboard, shooting towards the barrier at around 300 kilometers per hour. The runoff area, which usually seems generous, now looks less and less welcoming as he gets closer. His car, out of control, slams into the barrier before coming to a stop. Thankfully, no one was injured, and Buemi walked away unscathed, needing just a change of underwear, I imagine. Niki Lauda once said you could teach a monkey to drive an F1 car 30 years ago. Enter Pastor Maldonado in 2014, proving that even humans can struggle with modern F1 tech. During Chinese GP practice, Maldonado got so engrossed in his steering wheel switchboard that he veered off track, treating spectators to an impromptu off-road spin-out. But Maldonado wasn't done providing entertainment. In the next session, he misjudged his pit entry with the precision of a drunk parallel parker, slamming into the wall and cutting his day short. It was less precision motorsport and more bumper cars gone wrong. From gravel trap ballet to concrete wall kiss, Maldonado's performance was a masterclass in how not to drive an F1 car. It left fans wondering if maybe Lauda was onto something with that monkey idea. At least the monkey might have kept it on the track.
Sorry. Well, he's sorry, so...
Yeah, they didn't expect it though, did they?
The 2012 Bahrain Grand Prix gifted us with one of F1's most iconic radio messages, courtesy of Fernando Alonso's frustration and his delightful Spanish accent. Picture this: Alonso, locked in a high-speed duel with Nico Rosberg, finds himself being squeezed towards the track's edge one too many times. Fed up with Rosberg's aggressive driving, Alonso unleashes a verbal gem that would echo through F1 history. "All the time you have to leave a space," his words, delivered in that unmistakable Spanish lilt. A dash of "Are you kidding me?" The message quickly went viral, with fans gleefully imitating Alonso's accent and cadence. Even Sebastian Vettel couldn't resist poking fun, mimicking the phrase in the next press conference with a cheeky grin. Suddenly, Alonso wasn't just a double world champion, he was also F1's unexpected language coach, teaching drivers and fans alike about the importance of spatial awareness with style.
Okay, he pushed me off the track. I think you have to leave a space. All the time you have to leave a space.
Sebastian Vettel's return to F1 in 2022 was nothing short of classic Seb. After missing the season openers due to COVID-19, he made his comeback at the Australian Grand Prix in true Vettel style. When his car decided to call it quits during his first practice session, Vettel didn't just shrug and wait for a lift. Oh no, that would be too mundane for the four-time world champion. Instead, he commanded a Marshall's moped and set off on an impromptu tour of the circuit. Picture this: Vettel still in full race gear, helmet perched precariously on his head like a hat after a wild night out, cruising down the last sector on a scooter. He looked less like an F1 driver and more like a lost pizza delivery guy who stumbled onto the track. As he waved to bemused fans and marshals, you can almost hear the collective chuckle of the F1 world. Seb hadn't just returned to the paddock, he'd made an entrance that screamed, "I'm back baby," in the most Vettel way possible.
I've never seen the driver just take it, and he's going around the circuit.
Yeah.
The 1975 Austrian Grand Prix concluded in a manner that was anything but textbook. Vittorio Brambilla, battling through atrocious weather conditions, managed to guide his March car to victory on a track that more closely resembled an ice rink than a racing circuit. As Brambilla crossed the finish line, the euphoria of his first F1 win overwhelmed his better judgment. In a moment of celebration, his car, still at considerable speed and now free from any semblance of control, spun sideways on the slippery surface. What should have been a triumphant run to the first corner turned into an impromptu pirouette, with Brambilla's car rotating a full 180 degrees. The Italian found himself facing the wrong way. Victory secured, but dignity somewhat compromised.
Brambilla was so surprised to see the checkered flag that he half spun as he crossed the line.
Kimi Raikkonen's relationship with Team Radio is the stuff of F1 legend, and it all kicked off at the 2012 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Picture Kimi, cool as a cucumber, leading the race and in no mood for chit-chat. His team, probably sweating bullets, tries to be helpful. Kimi hears the gap to Alonso, but Kimi, channeling his inner teenager, fires back with a now iconic, "Just leave me alone, I know what I'm doing." You can almost hear the eye roll through the radio. Not taking the hint, the team later attempts to remind him about tyre temperature. Kimi, clearly reaching his quota of words for the day, snaps back, yes, you don't have to remind me every 10 seconds. It's like watching a man try to drive while his mum gives him directions from the passenger seat. Except in this case, mum is a team of highly paid engineers and Kimi is, well, Kimi. These radio gems cemented Raikkonen's status as F1's resident Iceman, proving that sometimes silence really is golden.
Just leave me alone, I know what to do.
The 1999 German Grand Prix start was like watching a group of overeager sprinters at the Olympics, except these athletes were strapped into multi-million-dollar racing machines. For years, F1 teams had been playing a high-tech game of Simon Says with the start lights. They'd cleverly rigged up a system to intercept the light change frequency, giving drivers a tiny head start with a well-timed buzz in the ear. The FIA, tired of this electronic eavesdropping, decided to pull a fast one. They changed the start procedure, keeping the red lights on longer than usual. The result? A comical scene of F1 cars lurching forward like impatient teenagers at a stoplight. Several drivers, their itchy feet getting the better of them, jumped the gun. It was a stark reminder that even the world's best drivers are sometimes just glorified traffic light watchers.
There is a mandatory period when those lights must go out. In my view, they did not do so. I've never seen this before.
Now at the Formula 1 race, pre-race entertainment took an unexpected turn when a man with a jetpack decided to show off above the circuit. The crowd watched, initially impressed as he zipped through the air like some sort of futuristic daredevil. However, the spectacle quickly turned into a disaster. One of the jetpack's engines suddenly failed, transforming the aerial acrobat into an unwilling skydiver. The man plummeted, his graceful flight turning into an ungainly freefall. He hit the ground hard, rolling across the tarmac in a tangle of limbs and machinery. The crowd's cheers turned to gasps. Maybe next time he'll consider strapping on 4 wheels instead of a jetpack. After all, in F1, when your engine fails, you coast to a stop. You don't get to test the track's abrasion levels with your face. Pedro de la Rosa's 2002 US Grand Prix came to an abrupt end when his engine began spewing smoke, forcing him to pull over. As marshals ushered him away from his stricken Jaguar, de la Rosa decided to take a shortcut back to the pit. In a moment of questionable judgment, the Spanish driver hopped over a nearby barrier. However, he quickly discovered that his spatial awareness skills weren't quite as sharp as his driving ones. On the other side of the barrier lay a small river, which de la Rosa promptly tumbled into. 1 second, he was an F1 driver, the next, he was an impromptu swimmer.
Out of the circuit I jumped and there was a river, so I just went into the river. I mean, they should have told me, you know.
Giancarlo Fisichella's grid antics at the Malaysian Grand Prix became an unexpected recurring comedy act. In 2001, he parked in the wrong grid spot, then attempted to rectify his error by moving across to his correct position. This impromptu mid-grip shuffle not only got him halfway there, leaving him stranded in an awkward no man's land. You'd think lessons would be learned, but Fisichella had other ideas. In 2003, at the same track, he pulled an encore performance. Once again, he found himself in the wrong spot and tried tried to relocate only to end up in limbo. These identical mishaps at the same venue raised eyebrows and prompted chuckles throughout the paddock.
Interestingly, the Italian made exactly the same mistake 2 years later.
From Raikkonen's radio gold to Vettel's moped adventures, these F1 bloopers remind us that even the world's best drivers have their off days. They're the moments that make us laugh, cringe and shake our heads in disbelief. But more than that, they're the human touch in a world of high-tech precision. These unscripted gems give us a glimpse behind the visors, showing that F1 isn't just about lap times and podium finishes. It's about personalities, unexpected twists, and sometimes utter chaos. So next time you watch a race, keep an eye out for these golden moments. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more motorsports content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. This has been Racers Reverie, and we'll see you in the next video.